Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Kasmuel Makoure officially joined ODM party today, and he promised to bring more Gen Zs into the ODM party. I want us to listen to him, but before we do, let me ask these questions. Why do you think Kasmuel has decided to join ODM party and not any other party in the country? The second question, what does that show us about the original Gen Zs we saw on the streets demanding Ruto must go? What does that show us about their real intentions? Because I'm seeing some Kenyans saying, by Raila Odinga working with Ruto, he betrayed the Gen Zs. Gen Zs are not happy. Let's listen to Kasmuel before we continue.
ODM is the party of the future. And the future of ODM is in the hands of our young people, our Gen Zs, our Gen Alphas, the ones who are coming up. That is why we want strong involvement of young, brilliant young people with a bright future like Makoure.
It behooves everyone who's of sound mind that we will go out in an outreach like never before. We will register not only the educated, but the people who are uneducated, the people who are in the technical institutions, and ensure that this is the party, if we look at the struggle that we've had.
To come into the party strongly, bring in other comrades, not just comrades, bring in young people of all walks of life and take over the party. This is the party of the future, and you are the future.
This is the party. Actually, every Kenyan is an ODM member just by virtue. That's why we will go on a vigorous mass registration of the young people to bring them in the party of the present and of the future. Thank you.
Let's put those remarks into perspective. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. Let's look at the major political parties we have in the country today. Which party do you think has got a national outlook? The major political parties in Kenya are ODM, UDA, Wiper, maybe Jubilee, maybe DAP. Which one do you think has got a national outlook? Which one has got support across the country? If you can answer that question accurately, you will know why Kasmuel has joined ODM. Its true ODM party draws its support across the country. Nyanza, Western, Coast, Nairobi, Northeastern. It has got more Kenyan communities in it than any other party. And I'm talking of majority support. If you look at the Kenyan communities, ODM party has got a majority support among Kenyan communities. I think that's why Kasmuel has decided to join ODM party. He has looked at all these other parties. He sees ODM as being more national than these other parties. And that brings us to the second question. What does that show us about the Gen Zs we saw on the streets? What was their real intention? And who were they? Not once, not twice, but on several occasions, I've maintained here that a whopping majority of the Gen Zs we saw on the streets saying Ruto must go, those who are most definitely Raila Odinga supporters, all Kenyans who never believed in William Ruto in the first place, they formed a majority, maybe 60%. The remaining 40% was divided among other Kenyan politicians. And then we had a small minority that were independent. But 60% of that entire Gen Z, those were Raila Odinga supporters. That's why upon Raila Odinga showing some intention of working with William Ruto, the protests died. Those who are Raila Odinga supporters or Raila Odinga's sympathizers. The remaining 40%, there were some Gen Zs who were on the streets because they never liked the way William Ruto was treating Rigathi Gachagua. So they took to the streets to rebel. And then we had other Gen Zs who were allied to Kalonzo and other leaders. And then there was a percentage that was independent. But a majority were Raila Odinga supporters. Kasmuel joining ODM party also just confirms what I'm saying. And I'm bringing it from that perspective for Kenyans not to say Raila Odinga betrayed Gen Zs. Some of those Gen Zs were on the streets because Raila Odinga was in the opposition. They wanted a way of destabilizing Ruto's government for Raila Odinga to benefit. So upon Raila and William Ruto coming together, those Gen Zs felt they had achieved what took them to the streets. That's why the protest died. Gen Zs had achieved what they wanted. I think that's very clear. So those saying Raila Odinga betrayed Gen Zs, the original Gen Zs, a majority, are very happy with Raila Odinga. It's only a few Kenyans who don't understand what was going on behind the scenes, who are still bitter, who are still saying Raila Odinga betrayed Gen Zs. But for those who understand the politics that was involved in the Gen Z revolution or the Gen Z protests, they know Gen Zs are happy. And we might see more Gen Zs who are very active on the ground, maybe joining ODM party in the coming months. All that points to the mere fact that they were sympathetic to Raila Odinga. Kasmuel Makori has made a very brilliant decision by joining ODM party. He might end up being elected into some senior political positions. Compare that to a situation where he was just there, not joining any political party. We know that Kenyans had started attacking Kasmuel. So it was just a matter of time before Kasmuel was going to be totally irrelevant in Kenya. Joining ODM party will give him a new lease of life. So that's a very brilliant move. Kenyans are very, very ungrateful. They don't know how to appreciate their leaders. And this is why sometimes I'm not very much bothered when I see some Kenyans abusing me here. I know that today they are abusing me, but tomorrow they'll understand what I'm saying today. Before 2022 presidential election, we warned Kenyans against Ruto. They were too emotional to understand. Even right now, it's still the same thing. Some don't see sense in what I'm saying. But I know as time goes by, what I'm saying will come out very, very clearly. As I conclude, what I'm trying to say is simple. If you have a situation where you have to compare Ruto and this other team, the Rigathi Gachagua's team and this other one, Ruto is far much better than this other team. This team is worse off than William Ruto's team. And the best of all this is if Kenyans were to go the tribeless way. But from what I'm seeing, Kenyans can't go the tribeless way. So Ruto comes out as far much better than this other team. That does not mean William Ruto has delivered to Kenyans. In fact, he's the worst president Kenya has ever had. But if now we are pushed to the wall to make a decision between Ruto and these other ones, let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Those watching us outside Kenya for the first time, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.